Hello, and welcome to the Denver Best Regional Championship Demo Days Game Introduction video. This will provide you a quick introduction to the game that the students will be competing with on Saturday, the 11th of December. It's called Demo Days. Lots more details here. So if you're not familiar with the game, this is a great introduction. Enjoy. So let's start this introduction about Demo Days with an introduction to the competition phases. This is consistent with all Best Robotics competitions, and there's a series of phases that go during the day. All 25 teams start in the seeding phase. There'll be 5 to 7 matches per team. We're shooting for 6 matches per team, so each robot will be on the field for at least, we hope, 6 matches. As part of this phase, the lowest team score is dropped. So of the 6, one of those, the lowest score there, will be dropped. So if you're keeping track of the scores, that adds a little extra complexity. So after the seeding phase, we start the wildcard phase. In this phase, the 4 highest scoring team engineering notebook teams will be competing, and these are those that did not make it into the top 7 teams in the seeding phase. So it's one more chance to get that 8th seeding phase slot. So the engineering notebook is a very important part of our competition, and this gives those teams that excel in that area another opportunity, and also motivation to do really well on their engineering notebook. Following the wild card, we then take those 7 highest scoring seeding teams plus the wild card that we just talked about, and each of those 8 teams has 3 matches per team to again get a very high score. And each of these phases, as indicated at the bottom, we set the score to 0 so they have a clean slate each time they're starting. At the end of the semifinal, the 4 highest scoring teams in that phase will then go competing, and again for 3 times on the field each team, and we will be awarding 1st through 4th place trophies for the winners of this robot competition. Each year, Best Robotics has a new game to challenge the teams. Each game has a different theme. This year's game is called Demo Days, and it is focused on the construction and demolition sites and how robotics, in particular their robots, can help in managing the site and ensuring safety. The students are given a pretty extensive set of rules that describes what the robot needs to accomplish in order to score points. We're going to talk about all those items listed here in the upcoming charts. We're going to start with a game animation video that's very short that gives you a great introduction to this year's game.
Managing construction and demolition materials makes up a significant part of the engineering effort on any building site. Additional concerns, such as site safety and environmental impact, lead best to experiment with using robotics to perform the complex and safety-critical tasks on construction and demolition sites. In Demo Days, teams are tasked with managing a demolition site. This includes not only the demolition itself, but also security and safety measures at the site, clearing the site of trash, and recapturing reusable and recyclable materials. The site has been pre-staged with components to facilitate the tasks at hand. Security light poles have been delivered to the site and are awaiting installation. 3 installation platforms have been prepared at fixed locations on the field. A bundle of valuable pipes starts in the far corner. This zone is a very dangerous part of the site, and extra caution should be used to retrieve items from this area. Teams are encouraged to have their robots retrieve the pipes autonomously. A flatbed trailer has been brought to the site for collection of reusable and recyclable materials. The trailer carries 2 bins for reusable materials, and can also be used for loading the pipe bundle. Balancing the trailer for safe hauling confers a bonus multiplier. Trash dumpsters are available on site to collect disposable items, such as walls, cement blocks, and insulation. These items can also be placed into the robot's start zone, which doubles as a trash pile. Fencing materials have been delivered to the site to secure materials and tools left overnight. These fence sections can be installed end-to-end along the farthest edge of the site, or on a closed polygon around the trailer. Fence sections must abut within spacing and angle tolerances to count as installed. A valuable air compressor has been left on the site and should be secured or removed from the site at the end of the match. This can be accomplished by moving it to the off-site safe area, lifting it off the floor at match end, or enclosing it within the fencing. At the center of the field is the main event, a 2-story building containing various materials. Some of these materials are valuable for reuse, while others should be disposed of. Teams may choose any method to bring the building down, from careful disassembly to messy demolition. But be warned, disturbing or knocking down the surrounding trees will result in a penalty, and disturbing the trailer, dumpsters, or lighting platforms will nullify any score earned at those stations. Be sure to check the official rules for all the details, and good luck with Demo Days.
Now that we've seen what the game field looks like this year, let's talk about some of the details of what you'll actually see during the competition. The animation showed 1 quadrant, but the actual game field has 4 quadrants laid out, as you can see in the picture. The 4 quadrants are identical and separated from each other by a few feet. During a match, you will see 4 robots running simultaneously but completely independent of each other. To score points with the light poles, the spotter will take a light pole from the spotter box, which was placed there at the beginning of the match, and place it onto the robot. The robot has to be in the start box before the spotter can do this, and the driver must not be touching the controller. If either one of those things hasn't happened, it's a penalty. The robot will then take the light pole and insert them into the light pole platforms. The robot can score points by putting trash items into the dumpster. You can also put other items like reusable or recyclable items into the dumpster to score points, but you won't get as many points as when you put them into the appropriate container. Some of the actual trash items are the ones listed here: the building walls, floors, roof, the insulation, which is inside the building, and the cement blocks. The trailer has 2 containers on it at the start of the match. To score points, you have to put reusable items in one container and recyclable items in the other. If you have a mixture of types in one container, then none of the items score. There's also a bonus if you can, after you have the items in there, if you balance the trailer. The fence panels will score if they are connected, which simply means they are upright within 1.5 inches of each other and don't form more than a 90-degree bend at the connection. You score points for each fence connection you make. You'll get bonus points if you make a closed polygon around the trailer. The edge of the field can be used as one of the sides of the structure. You score points with the air compressor by securing it, and there are 3 ways to do this. You can move it to the off-site safe zone, which is shown in the circle on the diagram. You can place it into a closed polygon of fencing, or you can have it lifted off the ground at the end of the match. The pipe bundle scores points in a couple of ways. First, you can retrieve it from its starting location autonomously. This will be a bonus and in addition to the other points as described below. To be successful, the robot has to start its autonomous run completely out of the autonomous zone, and at the end of its run, both the robot and pipe bundle have to be completely outside of the autonomous zone. Second, you can place the pipe bundle in the dumpster. And third, you can place the pipe bundle on the trailer. You can't put the pipe bundle on one of the containers. It must be directly on the trailer. Whether you get the pipe bundle autonomously or under driver control does not affect the points you get for placing the pipe bundle at a location. In Demo Days, there's this concept of disturbing a game piece. This is important because if a piece has been disturbed, it can no longer be used to score points. What disturbing means is the game piece has been completely moved off the mark it was placed on at the start of the match. It will be considered to be off the mark if the tape is completely visible from the top view. The picture on the left shows a game piece that is not disturbed because the tape mark is not completely visible, so the trailer can be used to score points. The picture on the right shows a game piece that's disturbed. You can see the entire tape mark. Therefore, a disturbed dumpster can no longer be used to score points. The key point here is that once a game piece has been disturbed, it can't be fixed. Even if it's moved back over the mark, it will not be able to score points. This illustrates where the robot can drive and where the driver and the spotter are allowed to stand. The red box indicates where the robot is allowed to drive. If the robot goes completely out of this area, it's a penalty. The driver has to stay within the box that's labeled driver. If the driver steps out of the box, it's a penalty. In this game, our hub is using the alternate spotter box, which is shown by the dashed red box. If the spotter steps out of this box, it's a penalty. Speaking of penalties, there are two types, a 20-second penalty and a disqualification. The 20-second penalty is pretty much what it sounds like. The driver hands over the controller to the ref for 20 seconds. At the end of the 20 seconds, the ref hands the controller back to the driver and they continue on, providing there's time left in the match. The disqualification, however, ends their match. Any points that may have been gathered so far in the match are thrown out and they get a 0 for the match. Examples of a 20-second penalty are disturbing a tree, stepping out of the driver or spotter box, or a robot leaving the game field. Examples of disqualification are the driver or spotter stepping onto the game field or the driver touching a game piece. Now I'll discuss some of the scoring possibilities, though this will not be a complete list. One of the more prominent scoring opportunities is the tower that sits in the center of the quadrant. The robot can score points by taking various pieces of the tower and its contents and placing them into various scoring locations on the field. Certain locations will score more points than others. The robot also has to be careful not to disturb any trees, which would cause a 20-second penalty, or disturb the light posts, which would negate any points for placing light poles.
To give you a little bit more introduction into game scoring, all the scoring is done at the end of the match, except for the autonomous scoring. And as we've said, there's 4 teams per match on the 4 quadrants. They each get their own quadrant. They don't interact. The game pieces are scored at the end. The referees that you'll see in their striped shirts, they tally the scores, and the driver for the team confirms it. And except for the raised compressor, if the robot is touching anything, it does not score. So there's lots of details with this. We do have our event program on our homepage of rmbest.org. You can click there to get lots more details. So we're coming to the end of our introduction to the Demo Days game. Hopefully this will give you a little bit of insight into what the robots are going to be doing on Saturday. And we're going to just end with a quick request. If you can help out our nonprofit that puts on this competition, there's several ways that you can help us continue to bring this at no cost to the teams and the schools and the students. So if you are able to help us out, there's a donate button at rmbest.org. We appreciate any company matches. We have some rewards programs. And always there are 6 different hubs that are competing with teams today across the 4 locations. And if you have an opportunity to volunteer with those hubs, that would be terrific too. So good luck to all the teams at our Denver Best Regional Championship, and hope you get a chance to watch some of the competition. Thanks. Bye.